They've obviously done it recently in history, so...
But at the same time, Big's a team that can really frustrate you. You know, they really like grind things through. They dissect everything they do into small segments, and it's just, you know, something that feels like, for example, yesterday when everything seemed a little timid for them, they were taking a little even too much time. But in the end of the day, things like we were talking about is how they were seeding little plants here and everywhere, making their opposition think certain ways, but then they'd be able to adapt as the half went through. So I think that's going to be a very interesting one. It's really hard to call for me, to be honest.
Okay, we're going to get more from both of you in just a moment. We've also got another member of the panel, sort of member of the panel. He's not here in person, but he's here in spirit at the Major, and he's put together a number of chronicles. This time, it's on Penta Sports.
Penta is a team that has really made waves in the tier 2 level of the scene. They're a squad which has followed suit from what we've seen from the likes of FaZe and Mouse Sports, where you can have these international teams, and sometimes there is more benefit to having a multinational team because you can take a player, examples like Nico in the past, obviously Rain, where in their domestic scene they couldn't have a team that's on the level of this international team. So therefore you take out some talent that maybe you couldn't get into your team otherwise, and they get a chance to perform at a level they otherwise wouldn't be playing at, no matter how good they are. And in Penta, we've really seen the value of that formula. Because in FaZe, they had kind of a get out in as much as they had so much money and so much attention, they could also get players who maybe could have played in a good team in their country. Penta has done it on a lower level where they've taken these players from countries at the moment generally don't have top teams. So for example, outside of Virtus Pro, there isn't a top team from Poland who's really making deep finishes in top international tournaments. If you go to Finland, they haven't had a top team pretty much ever in CSGO, if we're being realistic. So you go to these different countries, you take in the talents, and much as you've seen in FaZe, in Mouse Sports, if you get the right mix of those talents, then somehow, I've always said that the game for good players does transcend language to a degree, because a lot of communication in-game doesn't have to be verbal. The way you play, your style, if you fit with someone who's a teammate of yours, there's a chemistry that goes beyond words. And so I think Penta, coming from such humble beginnings of, in the past, just being a lowly German team, they've been able to show with this multinational roster that bringing in better talents from outside the region and putting them together and getting the right mixture together finally, they've got a style of play that's worked, they're getting upset results over people, and now they're ready to kind of unveil themselves at tier 1 and play with the big boys. So the best player in Penta is the Finnish player Sunny, and he is someone where not only does he have a high skill level and is able to do a lot of damage in the server, but I think the most encouraging quality